Hi, this is the first in a series of videos which I am going to be making on decoding how large language models works. This is the first video in which I'm going to be basically explaining the overall concept of what are large language models and how do they act, what is the core mechanism underlying them which causes them to be able to respond to our queries in such a realistic fashion. Hi, I'm Shelly, and I'm a professor of artificial intelligence. I teach artificial intelligence to business management students. This is my channel, AI Economics, where I decode complex concepts related to artificial intelligence with a business and corporate lens. If you're interested in this kind of content, please do consider subscribing and also give a like to this video. Thank you. So, how does ChatGPT or Gemini come up with responses that are so relevant and frankly intelligent? These belong to a group of models which are termed large language models. These models fundamentally underlie all types of generative artificial intelligence models. Now, what are large language models? These are massive models that take like millions of computers to train up and to do prediction. And these models are then able to predict probabilistically what should be the answer to a question. So the answer lies in probability, my friend. How do they work? These models work by assigning probabilities to the next word in a sequence of word or sentences. So it's as simple as predicting the next word. So what is the probability of a word? I mean, that's not something which we kind of associate with probability. Probability is things where there's uncertainty and where, the outcome is not certain. But we know what word we are going to use. So why should there be a probability associated with it? Well, here is where we have to do a little bit of widening of our mental concepts and come up with the idea to get our head around this concept. In probability language models, words are now treated as random variables. So this means that the occurrence of a word is considered to be a random event which is subject to probability. So just like when you flip a coin, flipping a coin is a random event. And if it's a fair coin, there is a 50% probability that you will get heads and a 50% probability that you will get tails. Similarly, the the words in a language model are also considered to be random events with a specific probability. Don't panic. I am now going to be explaining to you how all that happens. But bear with me because this is the fundamental concept. Each word has a probability distribution associated with it. This distribution then defines the likelihood of a word appearing in a given context. I'll again define all these terms, but the likelihood can be just as in the case of heads or a coin toss, the likelihood of a coin coming up with the heads is 50% and tails is 50%. Similarly, we can think of word more as a kind of container for the next spot. So it's not actually the word itself. It's not cat. It is a slot. What is the probability that this word will be cat or the or and or but? So that's what I'm going to explain. But first, let's define what is context. Now, if you say, for example, I'm going to the store, the context helps determine what you mean. If you're in a kitchen, for example, it might mean that you're going to a grocery store, or for example, the store cupboard in your kitchen. If you are in a mall, it might mean that you're going to go into a department store. So context is the context of the context in which a particular sentence or word takes place is absolutely critical to defining what exactly is the meaning and is crucial for the language model to understand and derive the meaning and implications of a sentence. So context basically refers to the surrounding information that influences the understanding and interpretation of a given piece of text. There are various types of context. For example, the one that we talk about a lot, which is the previous text, or what are the previous words that have come in a sentence. The topic. Now, this is a little more complex and it goes across several sentences. That is the topic that is being discussed. The speaker or the writer, the person who created the text, that again is whether it's a male or a female, whether it's you're speaking to a group, etc., that again can be a context. The situation, the circumstances in which the text has been produced. Is it a formal setting? Is it a classroom lecture? Is it an informal blog post, etc.? So these are all things which are determined as context. Language models are able to learn all these aspects. Hence, their responses tend to be so accurate. However, for simplistically and for understanding just the core mechanisms, we will take our context to be just the words that have come before it. So we are first trying to understand what is the context for a sentence and predicting the next word in a sentence. This is just a simple overview of how language models function. From word probabilities, we can then go treating words as random variables allows us to analyze and predict text based on statistical patterns and probabilities. Now, learning all these complex statistical probabilities and different combinations is something which was enabled by deep learning and something known as the transformer architecture. Language models use this, are able to do this kind of probability estimation by training on a very large corpus of textual data. This is just a simple overview of how LMs function. In the next video, we will dive into word probabilities and how they're estimated. It is a little more complex, but trust me, it is absolutely critical to understanding how language models function. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope it helped clarify some of the concepts related to artificial intelligence. Please do consider subscribing to my channel AI Economics, where you'll find more such videos which decode complex concepts related to artificial intelligence with a business management lens.